We're here with Andrew Roth, an interview a long time in the making, but just as glad to see it happening nonetheless. Andrew's been in well over 50 films and television shows. What can you tell us about when you first started to want to pursue acting as a serious career?
Yeah. Well, I first wanted to start to take on acting seriously when I went to college. I always had an affinity for it as a kid growing up. You know, I was always kind of a class clown. I always liked to perform, center of attention kind of stuff. Wound up getting into a lot of trouble. But when I went into college, I originally started out as business, and it really wasn't gelling for me. And my dad asked me, what is it that I really wanted to do? I told him, I said, well, take a class, see how it works. And I did, and I walked for the first time when I went on my first audition in Stoller Center at Stony Brook, and I walked into the theater in the empty black box. Kind of felt like it was like a holy place for me. It felt like it was church, and that was it. I took classes from there on in, and it felt like it was my home. And it gave me a medium to put all of my anxious energy and all of the, I mean, I have a lot of energy, as I've been told, you know, and it goes in all these crazy different directions. But I found a good positive place to put all that focus.
Now, you've done so many different films and so many different genres. Which genre do you feel most comfortable in?
I wouldn't say that there's really any. The one I feel most uncomfortable with is comedy. I'm still learning the ropes on comedy. Comedy is a whole entire different animal. You know, the art of comedy is to not be funny or try to be funny. I was lucky enough to do a film called Squid Man, which is getting a lot of publicity these days. It's about this down on his luck superhero who's an alcoholic, hates helping people, never does anything but if he does it for himself. And the director, Charlie Klein, who also wrote it, he directed me very deliberately. And he was just like, Andy, be as smug and smarmy as you possibly can, as cocky and condescending, and don't ever try to say anything with any delivery. As plain as I could. And you know, a lot of the people who've seen it loved it. One of the strongest performances I've heard. But again, I credit Charlie for that, because I don't think I would have gone into it knowing if I didn't have a great director. And,
now, knowing you for a number of years, that's kind of a reversal of what your personality is. So what was the challenge in playing that?
The comedic role? Well, most people tell me when they do know me and they get to know me, I am funny and I am kind of the life of the party and the cut-up. But a lot of the stuff that I get is dramatic, action. I'm very comfortable with action films. I rely on a lot of my own physicality. Do a lot of sci-fi and things like that. The hardest part about comedy for me, and even playing like a very vulnerable role like I recently played in Dakota, was showing my real self and being my true self, the thing closest to me. And I think many artists have that, because we peel that layer back to the audience, and then kind of, I mean, you can get hurt a lot easier. You can become so vulnerable on camera that sometimes you can get stuck in that, which happened to me also with Dakota. You know, I had a hard time dropping the role of Kurt, even though I play a lot of alpha male roles. You know, I get dominant guys, very direct dialogue kind of guys. You know, and Squid Man was much the same way. You know what I mean? He's deep at heart, he's a shy little boy. Doesn't want to get hurt.
Yeah. And part of your badassness, if I may say so, is your sleeve, and then just your overall ability to play it. Do you feel that getting that, I know it's probably a personal reason you have the sleeve, but do you feel that it's helped you in land some of those roles?
It's absolutely helped me in some, and it's hindered me in others. You know, I'm fortunate when there's production companies who know I come with a full sleeve of tattoos and they're willing to work around that. Then there's some that said that, wow, I never saw this character with tattoos. Let's work with this. You know, recently I played Paul the Apostle in My Name is Paul, and that's a modern day telling of the Apostle Christ, of Apostle Paul, within one of Christ's disciples. And you know, here I am wearing a full sleeve of tattoos. I'm using a double barrel 45. You know, very villainous character.
Very biblical, it sounds like.
Well, Saul was originally a slayer of Christians. You know, and then he got struck blind by God, and he could see the harm of what he was doing. He changed his name to Paul, which means little. Little Paul he became. In the film, they're called way people, and that's what they happen. So I have a full circle of emotions in this one. I start off terrible character. I hated and then I start to save these people. I want to help them and defend them. So that was a wonderful role to play because I got both sides of the spectrum.
Now, on the flip of that, you've also done a number of horror films.
Yep.
Would you consider yourself a horror junkie, or did it just come in, what you were auditioning for and what you were getting? And...
Yeah, B. Answer B. I'm definitely not a horror junkie. I prefer, and I'm not denigrating horror anyway. Horror is a fantastic springboard for other films, and it's a phenomenal paycheck at the end of the day.
Yeah.
The trick is to find horror films that you want to attach yourself to. Horror films that I believe have a message at the end of the day, like 48 Hours in Purgatory, written and directed by Jason Armstrong. Skeleton Key Films, and this film is just wonderful. It has horror in it. It has drama, a love story. Those are the kinds of films I want to try to do more. I certainly don't want to attach myself to any kind of gore film. My philosophy was always, if my mother or my late departed grandmother, God rest her soul, if they can't watch a film, I'm not going to do it.
So you've never been killed in a horror film?
I've been killed.
Oh,
yeah.
Just not gorily?
No, there was one called Fright World, one of my first big feature films I did that I was the lead in, and it was one of those films. And I thought they had a blood gun where they were spraying the actors with this gun, and I was so close to it. I said, no way. I said, everybody else got hit with the gun. Let me die a different way.
Yeah.
And the DP and I fought, the director and the special effects artist, and thank God we won. Thank you, Emil. And I got killed with blunt force trauma with a hammer, so I was battered and bruised and tied up to a couch.
But not
a blood gun. It takes you an hour to get clean from. Oh.
Yeah. And that's surprising that the lead got killed off. So.
Yeah.
No spoiler alerts. Don't listen to that part.
It's been around for a while.
In case you're gonna rent it.
Yeah.
Or Netflix it rather.
Yes.
Showing our age, right? With renting movies.
Oh my gosh.
So, you're a very grounded actor. You're very into social awareness of things, and you're also a very healthful actor, if that makes any kind of sense. You're very into keeping up your body in shape, and just your whole mental state. You have that way to ground yourself. Where did you come by that? Or how?
It started off young in life, I was always very close to my mother. I'm very blessed to say that both her and my father I'm very close with. And they taught us to think for ourselves, be self-sufficient, things like that, and to always be comfortable with being alone, which is one of the things that's so hard you find today. Everybody with the social media that's going on, it's instant gratification. People want to be talked to, people want to be heard, they want to throw it out there. I've always been kind of the opposite. So even now when I work with social media, it's challenging for me. I know I have to put my belly out there for people, but I have to limit it at a certain time. But the martial arts and the personal training, I think it's key for everybody. And it's something that I think once you start, it's an addiction that you'll keep for the rest of your life. And we all want to be there for as long as we can. We don't want to break down too much. And we want to be there for the ones that we love. And that's the most important. So I stress to everybody, go to the gym, go for a walk, eat right, and pay it forward.
There you go.
I mean, yeah, granted, I represent myself. I don't have a manager. I don't have an agent. I'm looking, but I'm very selective, just like the films that I take. I do this a lot on my own, but I am carried along by all the great circle of people in my life.
Yeah, and you've been around quite not quite a while, like 100 years, but I was going to say you look pretty damn good for a 100-year-old, but
yeah,
you've been doing it for quite a while on your own, so the formula is obviously working for you. What is the next project you have coming out?
The next big project, there's a couple. The next in line is Season of Hope, which is a short film written and directed by Jason Whittier.
Okay.
It stars Madeline O'Brien from Gone Baby Gone. She's the young girl that they had in that film. I play her father. It has Rick Montgomery Jr., Alexa Reddy, and Nicole Triken, and it deals with it's a broken family around the Christmas times, and it's these two little girls, especially the older of the two girls, and what she really most desires. And I can't give too much away.
Yeah,
it's a really beautiful, heartfelt drama. Then there's a television series that is created by John Wayne Bosley called Amnesia, which is a really fantastic show. It's just the 6 episodes that we have going, which we're going to bring to NATTE, which is the North American Television Production Expo. Once we have all 6 episodes shot, it's this post-apocalyptic future. It's kind of Lost meets The Walking Dead. My character, Alan Carter, the lead of the show, wakes up from in this horrific car accident. Oil tankers trashed, helicopters flying overhead, people are, there's bodies everywhere, and I have no memory of where I am, who I am, where I was prior to this. I get glimpses of my life through flashbacks and traumatic events. I have a picture of my wife who I'm looking for. There's this epic love story, and I'm being chased by this mysterious army that I have no idea who they are or why they are. And the people that I'm running with, this ragaband army who are against basically this government army, they're hiding underground. They take me in and they start to help me, and more becomes revealed about Alan through my flashbacks. And he's the fallen hero. It's a great character for me. I identify so much with him because just for that. He's a fallen hero, looking for lost love, and I have all the chips stacked against me. So, I'm grateful that John Wayne Bosley chose me for this role.
Well, we're excited to see it, and we thank you so much for sitting down with me for this interview. And you have a happy Thanksgiving and best of luck to you in the future. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Thank you, Brian. It was great talking to you.
You too.